on your own understanding.
What?
Bind them around your neck
Bind them around your neck. What else?
and write them on the table of your heart.
All right. So, verse 2. I mean, what does that say to anybody in here? I mean, I just want to start right there. Then. I mean, is that verse 2 or 3? 3? That's 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Verse 3. I don't have that in front of me. Verse 3. What does that say to you?
Well, to me, it says, let not mercy with, I feel it be always, try to be kind and always be truthful. I mean, be a man of your word.
Mm-hmm.
And it says bind them around your neck, I mean, just keep them close to you,
Mm-hmm.
close in your heart, to your memory, you know.
So, I'm glad you said, what's that part about binding around your neck? Heart, what do you say, heart?
Yeah, keep them close.
So, why do people wear crosses? I mean, a lot of folks wear because of just you.
Yeah.
I mean, but what's the significance of a cross? I mean, why would you wear a necklace with a cross charm? What does that represent?
Cross, you represent the crucifixion. Right.
And what else? What else should it do?
Huh?
What you said?
Which?
What she said? I know she ain't saying what I thought she said. I know she ain't talking about that movie. So I guess you're gonna get some garlic too then.
You must.
Is that what you said?
Looking at? What you looking
Who
at?
said that? Tanil. Let me show you. Who said that to me? All right. We talked about the cross. So what else should the cross represent? The cross represents resurrection. All right. What else should it represent? What else should it remind us? Huh? Who? I can't hear you.
He said
Man, you
eternal
talk so
life.
fast. What you said?
He said eternal life.
Eternal life. Yeah. It should be a constant reminder of who you are.
Yeah.
Now let's just be honest. When we wear stuff around our neck or whatever, charms, whatever we do we really think about that? All right. So that's what the proverb is saying in verse 3. Basically, he's saying what you got to do. In verse 2, you got to say and verse 2 talks about you got to incline your heart to understand. Your heart needs to be in whatever you are, whatever you're in. Your heart got to be in. Verse 3 talks about raising your voice and understand that if like, can you share your faith with somebody? You ask the average Christian that, and they cannot do it. And I tell people all the time, it's not hard. Just tell people what happened to you. But the reality of the matter is, some of us nothing happened. Because if something happened, you can tell it. You can tell folk what happened. I mean, you can tell folk that you was in the world somehow. You might have been in the club, you saw a gun, and you came to the light. That's how you got started. You promised the Lord that when you got out the club, I'm gonna do right. You go to church. Just like when 911 happened, the church was flooded with folk. That's all right. Trump gonna put them back in church. Oh, he worked on it. So verse 2 says you gotta incline your heart. Talks about your heart. Verse 3 talks about you raising your voice. Then I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back to 5 and 6. But read. I want you to read verses 10 and 11 in Proverbs 2. That's what we are. But go to Proverbs 2. I'm sorry. We in Proverbs 2. Go to Proverbs. I'm sorry. I messed y'all up. Don't worry about them verses I just said. I'm actually talking about Proverbs 2. I'm leading up to Proverbs 3. I'm sorry. But we stay right there. Stay where y'all are on Proverbs 3. But go to Proverbs 2.
10 and 11.
Yeah, read verse 10 and 11.
When wisdom enter your heart, and knowledge is pleasant to your soul, discretion will preserve you, understanding will keep you.
Hold on. He said what? Read 10 again.
When wisdom enters your heart,
When wisdom enter your heart.
and knowledge is pleasant.
Stop right there.
Okay.
So wisdom is not in your mind. Wisdom is in your heart. Now, how you get there wisdom? How do we get wisdom? What the Bible say about wisdom?
Ask the Lord for it.
Come on. You got to ask God for wisdom. Wisdom just don't drop out the sky. You don't find wisdom in a book. It's not in a degree. Care how many you got. Wisdom is not in your degree. What degrees do, I just have to tell a lot of folks this. Degrees mean that you know how to pass tests and write papers. That's it. I mean, really. You know how to go to class. You know how to go to class. You know how to pass tests. You know how to write papers. The thing that is so amazing to me about the job market, like when you get out of school, the first thing they say is, you got the credentials, but you don't have any experience. Well, how am I gonna get some experience? I just got out of school. You see what I'm saying? So people want you to have wisdom. You got the knowledge, but you don't have the wisdom because you have not been practicing in what you have your degree in. Once you practice in what you have, and you can show that I stayed at this place 3 or 4 years, now I'm still 5 years, then the folks say, oh, okay, yeah, you knowledgeable. You got some experience. That's what they say. All right. So verse 10 says, read again, D. This Proverbs 2, chapter 10.
When wisdom enters your heart.
Verse 10. When wisdom enters your heart, you got to enter your heart first. Then.
And knowledge is pleasant to your soul.
And knowledge is pleasant to your soul. Watch this. You can ask God for wisdom, but if you don't want to learn nothing, it ain't going to be pleasant. You just read it. He just read it. So wisdom and knowledge go together, all right? Now, you can have knowledge without wisdom, but you can't have wisdom without knowledge. Did that make sense? All right. So you can have knowledge and no wisdom, but you cannot have wisdom and no knowledge. All right. So he says, go ahead.
Discretion will preserve you. Understanding will keep you.
That's verse 11.
Yeah.
So what will happen is understanding, if you ask God for wisdom, and knowledge is, what's the word that the proverb uses?
Pleasant.
Pleasant. And knowledge is pleasant, then he says, then understanding will come. Understanding gonna guide you. All right? And so the problem is that a lot of us try to lean on what we know. And you ain't asked God for wisdom. You didn't ask everybody else, but you ain't asked God. God, show me what I need to do. Let's just be honest. Many of us, when we going through trials and tribulations, when we going through things, we ask other folk. We don't say nothing to God. God said, if any man lacks wisdom, ask who? Ask him. But the only way you gonna know is that you gotta have something in your heart. Like I tell you all the time, I'm not a regurgitator of scripture. I don't memorize scripture. That's not what we do in seminary. Seminary is very practical. It helps you. Well, I just want to be honest. What seminary does, it really opens your eyes to a whole lot of stuff. Now before I went to seminary, I was very conservative because that's the type of church I grew up in. My pastor didn't believe in women preachers. We just got some women trustees, and they had to fight to do that the last 10 years. A whole lot of stuff women didn't do. Now we had the majority of women in church, but so he was just from a different era. Watch this. When I got around some folk that didn't think like me, it's just like when I went to Stillman. And I'm in the choir with folk from Chicago, New York, New Orleans, And you know, in Tuscaloosa, Jeff Thompson can really sing. But when you get with these other folks, I mean, I remember the first of all, I had already heard that choir rehearsal was, and church, you know this because you was in the choir still, choir rehearsal was a fashion show at Still. Now, what you wore to class, you didn't wear that the choir rehearsal. I mean, folk came in, I'm talking about they came in their shorts. So I had already, you know, I'm talking about when I say short, like you can see somebody in the regular t-shirt on campus, and when we had choir rehearsal at 3 o'clock, they clean, walk in there late. So everybody can see, because they're about 75 folks. Choir room real big. So, it wasn't until I got around some folk that wasn't like me that I really understood knowledge and wisdom. Because what happens is, when you get around some folk that don't think like you, it challenges you. And the problem with the saints is, we don't want to be challenged. We think our way is that's just how it is. Just like I tell you, just like how all of us grew up in different houses. Some of us, when you hit the floor, you make up the bed. Some folks don't make up the bed until they get home after school. All that kind of stuff. Some of us on Saturday, that was the cleanup day. That was the house cleanup day. She put on the music. She turned on Freddell. You know, you were either in or you. God bless Freddell. I miss him. I miss him so bad. He was gonna play my mama's song on that 35, that record, Stand By Me, Lord.
Yes, Lord.
Sending out to the folk in Panola. He won't do all that. He did it religiously. Talked about my granddad, you know, all that kind of stuff. On the radio on Saturday. So that was our ritual. But everybody didn't grow up like that. Some folk don't never clean up. I'm serious. So when you're around, watch this, when you're around people that don't think like you, how you react says a lot about your wisdom and your knowledge. Because sometimes, watch this, I learned this. When I'm around, I'm not intimidated by anybody, but you know, sometimes, doctors sometimes can be cocky. All right? So the field that I work in, sometimes, doctors can be a little cocky, and they go to, they want me to come in with them with the family, and they'll say, well, she's not gonna last for 2 days, it's looking bad and all that kind of stuff. And I just like, and then the folks look at me like, you tapping what you think? I just shake my head. So one particular day, this new doctor that we had, he called himself, bring me in the room, like, Jeff, when I'm in the room, when the family asks you what you think, just agree with me. I said, no, I ain't gonna agree with you. No, I ain't gonna. I said, cause I got a different boss. I said, you looking at the chart. I walk in faith. I'm with the folks. You don't determine when folks start breathing. I just had to guess what? We best friends. Because he had the knowledge, but when you dealing with people and their loved ones, you got to use wisdom. And even though the chart did say whatever it say, these folks, these folk love one. All right? So, all right, he says in verse 11 that your understanding is going to guard you. All right, now, go back to Proverbs 3. Let's pick up with 5 because we all know this. If you've been in Sunday school for 5 minutes or been at Vacation Bible School or you had an Easter speech or anything like that, a memorization, you know this verse. All right, you know this verse if you've been in church 5 seconds. All right, trust in the Lord. Let's say it all together. We can recite it. We ain't got to read it. We can recite that now. Trust in the Lord. I remember being a crusader. In the crusader, saying this. Oratorical, I don't know why but anyway. All right, so trust in the Lord with all your heart and do what?
Lean not to your own understanding.
Uh-huh.
All your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path.
All right, so I want to tell you the insanity of leaning on our own understanding is simply like this. When the Bible tells us in this verse not to lean on our own understanding, it's not encouraging us to be irrational about stuff. In other words, what I'm saying is it ain't encouraging us to be Jesus freaks. And some folks Jesus freaks. Like, Facebook, Eclipse that day. I mean, the saints. You excited about the eclipse? You ought to be excited about Jesus. Really? I mean, really? Tanika, what you tagged me and Tika said, well, I guess I'm going to hell because I got me some glasses.
I'm asking if my admittance to heaven has been revoked since I watched it.
Since you watched the eclipse. I mean, the saints try to be so deep when they ain't that deep. Somebody put on my Facebook. I just, because I don't be, some folks come on there. Somebody put on my Facebook, well, we need to be deep in the word. And you ain't that deep in no word. I mean, folks says, and this is what this verse is saying. This verse is saying, you don't need to be so irrational about your beliefs and your trust in God. You ain't got to go to your car, crank up your car to my in the name of Jesus. Crank up, I say. You ain't got to do all that. But that's some people that think you got to do all that. I got in my car yesterday, put my key in, it didn't say nothing. Oh, okay then. I said, okay, I got some jumper cable, got my coworker, I got her truck battered up. She didn't even know I had it. I got her keys, she was in the patient room. I said, oh, I borrowed your truck. Jumped the car. It wasn't the battery, it was the connectors, but I ain't had to ask the Lord. I ain't had to pray about it. It went crazy. You see what I'm saying? So we can't be irrational about it. And it's not encouraging us to be irrational. But the Bible does, watch this, the Bible does put up some walls, or it doesn't put up no wall of separation between, watch this, our intellect and our faith. And I think sometimes we get our faith and our intellect mixed up. In other words, there are some people that think that they're smarter than God. They think they're smarter than God. All right? And so you got to look at the book of Proverbs. You really look at it, really study, and ask God to open your because it's the book of wisdom. All right. So when you look at verse 5. What we're told not to lean on is basically our own understanding. And the reason that we can't lean on our own understanding because conclusions based on your perceptions probably wrong. Because our own understanding won't bear the full weight of what reality sometimes is. In other words, back to the doctor, what I'm saying. You just can't, a doctor just can't bust in the room and tell you your loved one finna die today. Like you can't do that. Like give me a build up. I mean, just don't come in and say, oh, you been too that. Bro, you can't do that. Like give me a glimmer of hope. Even if that's what you think, you still ain't God. And so nobody knows when anybody end time is. Alright? So we gotta understand that because of our own understanding, what we think, it cannot weigh the full, it doesn't have the full weight of reality. And it was never intended to. So when you look at this, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. Basically, where did my notes go? So the question is, if we're not leaning on our own understanding, then how are we supposed to lean? How are you supposed to get understanding? That's not a rhetorical question. That's a question we need to answer. So how do we get understanding if we ain't leaning on our own stuff, our own minds? How you know you're gonna get it? How you know when you got it? Huh?
Like you said, you have a relationship with him, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't have to go around in circles about stuff. I need to know something, know what to do. I either take it as they say, or I don't be always doing that to my head. I showed you, I gave you, I told you, I was supposed to.
Oh, good. I'm glad you said that. Because it brings out a point about us. That sometimes when the Lord tells us what we don't want to hear, we ignore him.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because that ain't what you want to hear. He done told you plain and clear, but that you ain't ready. So the Lord just give you the rope. You want to hang yourself? Go ahead and hang yourself. All right, and I think that is what happened to a lot of us, because we try to basically, I want to say, well, some of us try to play God. Like, you can't tell God what to do. You can't. I'm serious. Folks try to tell God what to do. Well, Lord, I need you. And then some people pray against other folks. What God you know? Oh, I don't like Brother Kevin. You know, let something happen to his car, Lord. That ain't God. I'm telling you, folk do. Folk do this. It's happening every day. Genesis 2, because you got to go back to the beginning when you talk about messing up. All right. Genesis 2, verse 9. You got it? That's in the front. That's the first book. That's in the beginning.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
And out of the ground,
Uh-huh.
the Lord God made every tree grow that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life was also in the midst of the garden.
All right, go back to read that slow. Start over again.
And out of the ground, the Lord God made every tree grow that is pleasant to the sight and good for food.
All right, stop right there. So here we are at the beginning. Everything we need, God done put it. The tree was pleasant. It was looking good. It was smelling good. And it was going to bear what it needed to bear. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The tree of life was also in the midst of the garden,
Mm-hmm.
and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
Now a river went out of Eden
Mm-hmm.
to water the garden, and from there it parted and became 4 riverheads.
Mm.
The name of the first is Pazan.
Don't worry about it. Just keep on.
It is the one which skirt the whole island of Haiti,
Mm-hmm.
where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good.
Mm-hmm.
Biniam and the Bowen stone was there.
Yeah, go ahead.
The name of the second river was Gihon.
Uh-huh.
It is the one which goes around the whole land of Cush.
All right.
The name of the third, the Lord God commanded the man,
Yeah.
saying, of every tree of the garden
Mm-hmm.
you may eat freely,
Mm-hmm.
but the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it you shall surely die.
All right. Now let's deal with this. Let's unpack this. All right. In deep reading, you heard that there were 4 rivers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Each river had a path to something that would help.
Yeah.
Sound like the black folk. You ain't ready for this one tree, because if you do what I commanded you to do and you walk the path that I have commanded you to walk, you won't have appetite for this tree. But isn't it amazing that, okay, Pookie on crack, he walking down 15th Street with a 44-inch TV in 95-degree weather. And we think we so insane. Joe Blow, who already an alcoholic, been an alcoholic for 20 years. Joe Blow say, well, you know, I know they over there, I'm going to try some crack. Now, my thing is, what crack has done for others. It's just like Jesus. What he's done for others. What crack has done for others, it'll do the same for you. But the insanity in our mind says,
So we can have it.
I'm just gonna try it one time. I'm gonna try it one time, cause see, I ain't pooping. You know, I ain't no crackhead. You know, it took poop a long time to be a crackhead. And so we tried when we have seen the evidence of what it does. I don't understand it. So the tree in the garden that the humans were forbidden to eat from was not the tree of life. Why wasn't the tree of life? He said, you got all this other stuff, but this tree of knowledge of good and evil, don't eat. The reason that he said don't eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, because whatever you need to know, he wants you to come to him. That he don't want you to get it from no other source. He don't want you to get it from other. Come to him. If you lack wisdom, go to him. But that ain't what we do. That ain't what we do. Do we? Let's just tell the truth. We don't talk to God. We don't go down on our knees. We don't ask God to show us what we need to do. Here's what we do. Call me. Let me tell you what happened. You ain't said nothing to God. I'm going. Y'all ain't got to get quiet. It's just 6:30. We got plenty of time. All right. So the tree of good. Now, the whole thing is, again, our understanding, our own understanding, won't bear the full weight of reality. Why did they? The very tree that God told them don't go to. Out of all the stuff, he just named 4 rivers. I would have went to the gold, man. I mean, even though wasn't nobody there with him and her at that point. But if I would have got bored, I would have went off to the east or the west. But isn't it amazing, the very thing that God tells us we can't have, that's what we want. Why is that? Come on, go ahead.
You know, I've looked at that. You have to kind of understand now. Adam was just made, still a baby. You might say, well, what you tell a baby? You tell a baby not to go over there, touch that, 9 out of 10 they gonna touch. Right?
Adam wasn't no baby.
Wait. The mind. That's what I'm saying. The mind.
He still wasn't no, I'm not buying it. And when we get to heaven, I'm going to ask him. Dude! But hold on. Understand. At this moment, it was Adam and Eve, right?
Right.
At this point. Now, he gave this command to who?
He gave it to Adam. Well, now, I say this, I tell
come on.
I have a class.
Yeah.
The worst weakness of a man is what? A woman. A woman can stop a man into doing anything. Now, did she not? She was the one that asked me this. Why did the devil go to the woman instead of not going to him? Why did the devil go to the woman? Answer me that. We in Bible study. Hey, you can ask him, why did he not go to the man? Why did he not go to the man? Come on now. Talk to me. Come on, talk to me. Why? Why did he go to the woman instead of not going to the man? Come on, Kyle. Tell me that.
You over there watching the eclipse?
I'm gonna stand up for the man. Why did he not go to the man? Was it because God had made man dominion over everything? He couldn't have sweet talk Adam if he had to talk to Adam? Maybe that was it. Why did he go to the woman?
I'm going to tell you why he went to the woman.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Because, really, to be honest, Adam left her uncovered.
Oh, okay. Tell me how he did that.
Because he was somewhere else when the serpent came. If he would have been there, oh, I'm going somewhere. If he, come on, hold on. I'm telling you, you ask me a question, I'm giving you the answer. If he would have been there, because God gave him the commandment, and he is supposed to be the stronger.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah.
He left her uncovered. And she had too much time. Now here's the thing that people got to understand about the Genesis story. I think some people think when they read Genesis that it happened that day. Like, all of this unfolded that day. No, that snake spent time with her.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Oh, he spent some time with her now. So what y'all been doing? All this stuff in here? You ain't, where Adam at? He's somewhere at the Gold River. See, ain't nobody but him and her. He left her uncovered. And so, anytime that you leave what God has given you uncovered, it allows for the enemy to come in.
I got it.
Oh, that's a sermon in itself.
He didn't give Eve the attention.
I'm just saying, it ain't even about the attention. He should have been in the vicinity where she could say, hey!
Yeah, okay.
Oh, boy talking to me. Who is he? And Adam could have squashed that. But by the time he got there, the damage was already done. She had already gave him the phone number, the social security number, everything, email, password, everything. It was over with. Because by the time he got there, she was so engulfed about what he said, she persuaded him. That wasn't even a blessing, but okay, that's good. That's a good question though, and we need to know that. But you're right. In our flesh, that is an issue. All right. But what I want to deal with is why we even trust ourselves around stuff that we know we can't handle. You know you can't handle. You just stopped going to the club last week. Why you think you can handle going to a party? You just stopped drinking. So you say, well, I'm going to go to this party. And you know alcohol going to be there. You ain't ready. We don't give ourselves time. And you got to be honest. And there are too many people that are not honest with themselves. The insanity of them trusting themselves is saying that they are ready for what they really not ready for. The whole thing is, I'm just going to say this. Since we talk about women and men, the whole thing is the problem is women want men to have their stuff together. And they want to come to the table with bad credit. So if you require us to have our stuff together, oh, he need a house, he need his own job, he need his own car, he need this, he need that. What you got? So how you gonna make requirements that you don't even meet? Oh, okay. That's another sermon. Y'all ready? I'm still talking about we can't trust ourselves. If any man lacks wisdom, ask God. That's all you got to do. She was so engulfed in the snake, in the serpent, she didn't ask God. He said, so everything else they could have eaten. But a tree of knowledge of good and evil, because God wanted them to come to him for wisdom and knowledge. Now, don't get me wrong that the point of him not saying that they not eat the tree of knowledge of good and evil, it wasn't to keep them ignorant. That was not God's aim. It's never God's aim for any of our lives to keep us ignorant. But it was to preserve the pleasures of the word for God. All right? So basically it was like this. It was like God was saying, if you eat of that one tree, you saying to me, I'm smarter than you. So God, you don't need to tell me. You done told me I can have everything else, but the very thing too. So I'm smarter than you, God. I need to eat from that tree. And when we go against God, that's what we basically saying. I'm smarter than you. I got more authority than you, God. I'm wiser than you, God. I think I can care for myself better than you can care for me. You ain't no good father. And so on. So I'm going to reject you. So don't eat from the tree, because when you will be rejecting me and all the good gifts and all my wisdom and my care. But instead, keep submitting to his will. So the whole thing is we got to keep affirming our wisdom. We got to keep on being thankful for generosity. And we got to continue to trust him as our Father. And we got to keep eating from those other trees as a way of enjoying Jesus. That's all the tree was about. It wasn't about, see, people got the wrong context. It wasn't about what you couldn't do. But God was saying, I got all this other stuff that you can do. Why are you worried about what you can't do? Because what you can't do, I can get that thing that you think you need, I can get that to you. All right, watch this. So you got to understand, in order to handle the knowledge of good and evil, there are 3 things that you got to possess. You ready? Because you might want to write this down. Or go back and look at the video when we get through. All right? Ain't we on live? All right? Is some folk on there? All right. In order for you to handle the knowledge of good and evil, you got to possess 3 things, in my opinion. You got to possess the ability to completely comprehend all possible options. You got to comprehend that just because your mama made a cake that way don't mean that's the only way a cake can be made. You got to comprehend that there are other possibilities. You got to comprehend that it's more than one way to get to 1761 Matt Fowler Boulevard. You don't have to come across the bridge all the time. You come around the back. Some of y'all don't know the back way. All right? Watch this. So you got to be able to, you got that? To comprehend the possible, you got to be able to completely comprehend all possible options. That's God's omniscience. You got to know that God is all-knowing. The second thing that you got to possess is the righteousness and wisdom to choose what's right. The righteousness and wisdom to choose what's right. Understand, listen, God is everywhere. He everywhere. When you're doing wrong, he there. When you're doing right, he there. The psalmist said, if I make my bed in hell, he there. If I go to the uttermost part of the world, he's there. If I get some wings and fly away, he's there. So you can't escape God. So you got to understand that the righteousness and the wisdom to choose, you got to have the righteousness and the wisdom to choose the right course. Now the third thing you got to have is you got to have the power to make reality conform to the right course. And the way that the way that you have the power to make reality conform to the right course is that you got to have God's power. He's omnipotent. You got to ask God, what do I need to do? How do I need to proceed? What move do I need to make? But that's not what we do. So we quote, trust in the Lord with all our heart and lean not to our own understanding, but you still think you're smarter than God because you're still trying to do it yourself. In other words, only God can handle knowledge. Only God can handle knowledge. I don't know. Listen, folks talk about, I made a point a couple of weeks ago. Some of you watched. Some of you were here. And I was a Bible study. I can't remember. I think it might have been Sunday school. Right, it was one of them. But I asked, are horoscopes bad? Folks were like, yeah, horoscopes bad. That's because of what you've been told. That you don't need to do. Now, your sign is not demonic. Did you know your sign? There's nothing demonic about you being a Pisces or a Virgo or a Taurus or whatever y'all, Leo and all that, whatever your sign is, Pisces. The sin is the stuff that go with your sign. Like on today, you're a Virgo. This is what's going to happen. That's the scene. The reason that I know that is because God is into astrology. How do I know? The earth and the Lord. He got the deeds to the kingdom of God. He's into astrology. So don't tell me astrology is demonic, because it's not. I'm talking to y'all on Facebook. Google it. Google it. Because I'm tired of the saints trying to be so deep when they don't really know the context of what it's saying. If you lack wisdom, ask God. Folk don't know the word. In the beginning was the word, and the word was God, and the word was with God. He went on in them 7 days. The Bible says that he spoke. He spoke the clouds into being. He spoke the stars. That's astrology, saints. How you think the stars get up there? Well, the scientists say, well, you know, clouds are suspended from this whatever. That's God. The most amazing thing is every time I get on a flight, the most amazing thing to me is something so big can go up above the clouds and go up to 400 and 500 and 600 miles per hour. Something that big and never hit a bird. Never hit a bird. You never see a bird. You know why? Because God is intelligent. When he made everything very good. And so when he made the birds, they don't fly that high. And folk think they invent stuff. You don't invent stuff, you discover. It's already here. You just discovered it. Folks say, oh, I'm going to give me a piece of the rock. The only thing, let me tell you, the reason that they call real estate is because that's a piece of the earth. God ain't making no more. That's why it's real estate. I got some plots that I got the deeds to the plot where I'm going to be buried simply because that's part of the earth. All right, that's the deed. But God say, the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, and they that dwell therein. In other words, he ain't making no more. When he got through with them 7 days, he ain't scooping out another word. I don't know why we trying to, listen, if God wanted us to go to Mars, he would have put us on Mars. He didn't say the moon is mine. We know the world is his, but he says the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. And so why are we on earth? Because God wants us here. I ain't trying to see who on the moon. That ain't the North not flow in. I ain't go ahead on. They got flights now, one-way flights, $150,000. They booked up one-way trip to the moon. I ain't going. One way. They ain't guarantee you coming back now. One way, $150,000 a pop, and they got a wait list. Cause folks think they smart. I'm telling you. All right, let me finish up. Now, so there's insanity in trusting ourselves. Now, I think I made my point. I don't need to bring that home anymore. But what I'm trying to say is that the last thing I want to say is, now there is some joyful sanity of trusting God, all right? Because so many things that cause us the most difficulty and heartache in life, the source of so much of our anxiety, our fear, our doubt, our anger with others and with God, is the result of us leaning on our own understanding. That's all it is. You leaning on what you think. That's why you mad. That's why you upset. That's why you stressed out. That's why you got heartache. That's why you got anxiety. That's why you got fear. That's why you got doubt. That's why you think everybody talking about you. Because you lean into your own understanding. But if you lack wisdom, ask God. The thing that people don't understand about, and I know we live in a nutrition age, and everybody want to be healthy, and everybody want to lose weight. But the thing that I found out about weight loss is that there is no cookie cutter plan. Everybody's body type, how your metabolism is different. You can get a person trying to pay them $700 a month. It's still, if you don't do the work, what's gonna happen? Ain't nothing coming off. And then we got the saints. The saints are not now. Now, we ain't never seen them in a gym Ever. They ain't never posted a picture on social media nowhere. They go missing for about 6 weeks. They go missing for 6 weeks. Then they come back. I've been making healthy choices. You a lie. You done leaned on your own understanding and went up there and got asleep. Tell the truth. But the thing that people don't understand about weight loss surgery, if you can change your body, but if you don't get it in here,
Yeah.
you don't change your mindset. If you still got chicken on your brain, okay. All right. So here's what I gotta say. Here's what I think. I think we resist the intellect, our intellect, upon the intellect of God. We think we're smarter than God. And I need to tell you, God don't want you to be miserable. That is not the will of God for your life. He don't want you in a fallen state, in an infected evil age. He wants to relieve that stuff. He wants to relieve anxiety. He wants to relieve fear. He wants to relieve doubt. He wants to relieve your sinful nature. And so what he does, he gives us a priceless gift. And that is Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. But you got to exercise your faith. You got to trust fully in the Lord and not lean on your own understanding. And so you got to set aside what you think you know. You got to set that aside. Because we're resting, when we're not trusting God, we're resting upon our own intellect. And nothing is wiser or saner to do so. And here's the thing, to do so is to allow him basically to direct our path. Now here's the thing. The saints got to understand that all of our paths are not the same. And you can't get mad because it seems like in your mind or in your own understanding that I'm passing you. Because at the end of the day, we trying to get to heaven. That's what we trying to do. This stuff that we got down here, these degrees, these houses, these cars, all that stuff. You know the story told about the wife and her husband made her sign an affidavit that when I die, you bury all my money with me. All of it. He made her sign. All week, she pondered, how I'm going to do this? How I'm going to do this? Got to the graveyard, the preacher got ready to say earth, ask dust. She said, wait a minute, hold on. My husband made me, I got an affidavit right here, he made me, this has been notarized. This is lawful, I got to do this. He made me promise that I leave all his money, I give him all his money, bury him with all his money. She took the checkbook out and wrote a check to him and asked the undertaker to open the casket, and she put it in there. And she said, now we can go. She wrote him, she left his money, she put all his money in this casket. Now if he cashed it, now if it clear, Holy Ghost, we got a problem. All right, so we gotta let what we know or what we think we know, we gotta get at to God. You can't change folks. Say that. You can't change folks. You can't even change your own self. Just to be honest, I mean, I got a birthday next week, and I was looking at my arm today. I got like 5 gray hairs. And I've been kind of picking at them because I'm like, okay, I got them on bed. I'm like, okay, all right. So if I could change this, don't you think I'd change? If you could change, well, now some of y'all, y'all can change, but after a while, by your roots gonna tell the truth. I'm just saying. Roots ain't gonna lie. What I'm saying is, you can't change yourself. God got to do that. All right. So look at Proverbs 3. Look at 5 and 6. The last part I said, the second part I said, All right, I deal with the lean not to your own understanding. Now, in all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will. I think that the Message Bible says that he will make straight your path. I like that because some people think that all you do is walk in straight paths. That you don't never go to the left, or you don't never go to the right. You just straight. Now, he ought to make you straight. Because you ain't straight on your own. No, you can't do it. He'll kill you. He'll knock you out. You can't handle it. All right? So, if we truly trust in the Lord and lean out to our own understanding, all our ways and all him, he's going to straighten out the path. The last thing I want to tell you, so y'all got those three things that I said, right? All right. So, I talked about the insanity of trust in ourselves, talked about the joyful sanity of trust in the Lord. Because if we trust God, God will work things out. And here's the thing that we don't understand. I think a lot of us don't understand about God. When you try to tell God what to do, they don't move him, they slow him down. I mean, well, I mean, what else? You tell God, I mean, I'm God. Okay, God, I'm finna be 40. I'm still saying, okay. God say, okay. Yeah, I know. I know you say. There's a reason. The whole thing is, people don't understand that if in your life, the one thing that you want, you always pushing for this one thing. If that's the only thing that can make you happy, what if it don't happen? Like, what you gonna do? Like, you gonna spend your life. I see folk all the time. Me and my mom was talking about John Rivers. She was saying all that plastic surgery John Rivers had. 84 years old. Yeah. And she looked like she was 35 in her cancer. You know why? Because you can change the outside, but you can't do nothing with it. You can get a 35-year-old, make you look like get the Botox, but you can't do nothing with that 84-year heart that's been pumping since you was an embryo. Not a fetus, been pumping since you was an embryo. You can't do nothing with it. Embryo. Yeah, I know a little something. Embryo. Ain't that right? Ain't that right? Ain't that right, medical folks? Let's talk about a tadpole. Man, you talking about frog. Even I know a tadpole turned into a frog. We used to keep them in the jar. Huh? Yeah. All right, so what'd you say? All right, so either you're gonna trust God. Here's the thing, as I get ready to pray. I'm out of time. Either you're gonna trust God, or you're gonna trust yourself. Now, the question is, you done trusted yourself all these years. Where have that gotten you? Well, when you gonna start? When you gonna do something different? When you gonna understand, if he say, don't touch it, don't touch it. If he say, don't go, don't go. But now I'm going. Okay. Go on out there. But then back to my other point. The snake, nothing happened until Adam ate the fruit. Because the responsibility was not given to Eve, it was given to him. Now, when we get to heaven, I'm going to ask him, first of all, I want to see Eve because she got to be so enough fine. Number one. Because the Bible says he put him to sleep. And when he woke up, he said, whoa! Man. So she had to be something. I want to see her. But I want to ask him, man, where were you? And here's the thing, what folks don't understand, the Bible days, folks were living to be 800 years old.
Yeah.
There's always consequences for leaning on your own understanding. The consequence was for Adam, You didn't have to worry about none of this. I put all this for you. Then I say, now you're gonna have to work for it. I had the trees full of fruit for you on my own. But now since you want to know knowledge and evil, good and evil, then here's what I'm gonna do for you. You gonna till it by the sweat of your brow. Oh, and by the way, Eve, you ain't get off quick. You ain't get off. You don't get off. You had a part in this too. So when you have children,
Feel the pain.
Oh, we gonna have words too.
yeah. When you have children, you gonna have pain.
Yes, sir.
I ain't never had now, but I believe y'all when y'all say it. All right. So either you gonna trust God or trust yourself. But understand, when you make the worst mistake in your life, whatever that is, you were with yourself. You were with yourself. And God was there. But he let you make it. Because you had to learn from it. All right? All right, I'm done.